And we are live. Welcome, mystery and thriller fans. I'm your on air host, Sara DiVello, and I am so excited to host the incredible Amanda Jayatissa live, joining us from Sri Lanka tonight on the eve of her U.S. publication to tell us about her brand new, red hot, most anticipated book, My Sweet Girl. Amanda, welcome to Mystery and Thriller Ravens. Tell us about this book.
Hi, Sarah. Thank you so much for having me. This is so much fun and it's such an honor. Okay, great. So, My Sweet Girl is about a woman who finds her blackmailing roommate dead in their San Francisco apartment. But when the police arrive, they can't find the body or any trace that this gentleman even existed to begin with. Um, Paloma, that's our main character, she is convinced somehow that this is tied into her childhood in Sri Lanka and the steps she took to escape the orphanage where she grew up.
Ooh, well, you hooked us good, Amanda. And clearly, you were not the only ones because my goodness, you are earning incredible praise from Entertainment Weekly, Pop Sugar, Bustle, the Boston Globe. I could go on and on, and would go on and on. I will go on and on. But first, I just want to welcome everyone who is watching us on Facebook, watching us on YouTube, watching Murder by the Book, watching in Mystery and Thriller Mavens on my channels, on Murders channels, wherever you're watching from. Welcome. If you've been here before, you know the drill. And if you're new, welcome. We're so happy to have you. Here's the drill. Every Monday, I handpick two authors to present to you my two picks, and you get to ask them anything. Ask Amanda about her book, ask her about her writing process, ask about her path to publication, ask her about life in Sri Lanka, anything you want to know. Ask in the comments. Get these questions going. Look at this gorgeous cover. I love it. I have so many questions myself. So we're going to dive right in. Welcome, Linda. Welcome, Dana. Hey, Dana from Mystery and Thriller Mavens. Good to have you, girl. Welcome, Susan. Welcome, Jane. Welcome, Sheila. Welcome, Vicky. Welcome, Olga. Welcome, Hanson. Welcome, Melissa. Melissa is saying, hi, Sarah and Amanda. Hey, Melissa. Welcome back. Mystery and Thriller Maven there. Great to have you. So if anyone has any questions for Amanda about her book, about anything, get them going in the comments. And I am going to kick off. I know it always takes me a moment to think about my questions. So get yours going. But you guys, I am so excited because holy crap, look at all this praise. I'm posting it in the comments right now. Okay. A most anticipated book by Entertainment Weekly, the New York Post, the Boston Globe, Fortune Magazine, BuzzFeed, Goodreads, Shondaland. I mean, freaking Shonda rhymes. Pop Sugar, Bustle, Crime Reads, Book Riot, Crime by the Book, The Nerd Daily, The Every Girl, and more. Amanda, congratulations on this incredible praise that you have earned. Welcome, Randy. Welcome, Mark. Great to have you. Amanda, how long did it take you to write this book? Let's start there.
Um, Great question. So, the first draft actually didn't take me that long after everything fell into place. I was sort of struggling with this other book that wasn't working, and it took a really long time to get to sort of this idea. But once I did, the first draft got written very, very quickly, probably about 1 to 2 months. I'm one of those people, when I get that idea, I can't rest until I have it all written down, and I am not very pleasant to be around with during that time, I'm afraid. um, yeah, but of course the editing process, and there were many rounds for this, took a lot longer. I think I worked on My Sweet Girl for about 11 months before I took it out querying.
Wow. Okay. And then what? Tell us. Oh, Melissa has a question. Amanda, how did you come up with the idea for your book? Yeah, let's start. Let's start there. Great question, Melissa, as always. So, were you in San Francisco? You were walking around, and you thought, "Hey, what if somebody turned up dead?" I mean, how did you come up with this idea?
Oh, no, I was actually, I'm back in Sri Lanka. So I was living in Sri Lanka at the time. And it was really funny. Like I mentioned, I was working on another novel that didn't something wasn't clicking, it wasn't going well. But I had this really cool idea for a big reveal or like a plot twist that I wanted to go for, but it wasn't working, and I was really upset. And then I got even more upset because I had this unfortunate encounter with my bank where I got really, really angry and really frustrated, as one sometimes does when they're dealing with their bank. and um, and
Indeed,
even
I
though I
do.
was and even though I was absolutely seething inside, I had to put on this face, and this almost like a mask, and keep smiling, even though my jaw was hurting, and I kept the pretenses of the thank you so much for your time, and I really appreciate it, even though I was inside. I was like, oh. And then I did what I think most writers do. I escaped to my favorite coffee shop. I ordered the largest cup of coffee I could get my hands on. And, everything's better once you're caffeinated, right? So I pulled out a notebook and a pen, and I just started anger writing, just like letting this customer service rep like just really have it. I was just having these really ungracious thoughts. And then after a while of writing in this voice, I realized how much fun I was having. And that's where this sort of character, Paloma, was born. And I liked it so much, and I liked her so much, that I ripped apart this other story I was working on, and then included this character and this setting of the Bay Area where I spent about 4 years because I went to college over there. And yeah, and that's where the idea came from.
Wow, I love the behind the scenes, because who hasn't been so frustrated dealing with customer service at their bank? We can relate.
Right?
We can all relate. You're like, give me a human. I mean, you want to rip your freaking face off. You just want to claw your skin off. And I love that you escaped to a coffee shop, got yourself the big coffee. You're like, I deserve it. Glug, 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 glug.
Yeah.
And then you're anger writing. Oh my God. I absolutely love it. Melissa is saying, I love that. Melissa, me too. See, we're vibing. Absolutely. And Margaret is saying, hate banks, right?
Oh.
I mean, it can just drive you so crazy, and and so I love it. So then whilst anger writing, and who can relate to the term anger writing? I mean, hands up, I love that. So you just rage writing in the coffee shop.
Yeah.
And then Paloma was born, and
Mhm.
and who can relate to so Paloma, tell us about this ghosting situation. You're dating someone and poof, they disappear. So Paloma finds herself with her roommate excuse me, similar situation. Give us the scoop. How did you come up with that?
Well, Aaron, that's her roommate. He was someone that Paloma tried to give almost a leg up to, right? Because she, as a character, had been in that situation where she felt that she was dependent on the charity of others. So she thought it was time to sort of pay it forward. And he ended up being a bit of a snake, right? Like he turned around and they found out her secret. He turned around and blackmailed her. He was asking her for money, and that's where the story opens. And I mean, who hasn't, again, been in a situation where they try to help out someone and they have these really good intentions, and then the person they were trying to help out turns out to be not at all what you expected? I think most of us have been there. Of course, not to the degree that Paloma's been, because she does come home and find him dead. So I hope none of us ever have to go through a situation like that at all. That kind of takes ghosting to a whole new level, huh?
Exactly, indeed. So I think we've all had those thoughts where we think to myself, oh, I could kill that person, or we say, oh, whatever. But here we have a situation where now Paloma finds herself in the unfortunate situation of being the victim of blackmail. She could be, she's looking kind of guilty there. So let's talk about your writing process. Do you rise with the sun? Do you flow to your desk? do the words pour effortlessly out of you? You mentioned that you were struggling with another manuscript when this one was born. Did this one come more easily, or it still was a struggle? And if so, how'd you get through that struggle?
I think there are always good days and there are always bad days. When I hit my stride, it feels like everything is a good day and the sun is shining and I'm in a great mood. And then I hit those bad days where, let's just say, I'm not pleasant to be around. um, the pandemic was interesting. I got a lot of my Sweet Girl done before the worst of the pandemic hit. So I was going through, I think we went out on submission during the start of like the earlier days of the pandemic. So I had pretty much gotten a bulk of it done beforehand. But I was writing my second book sort of during the pandemic. And it's so funny when you consider how much my writing patterns had changed pre-pandemic and post. I was a big coffee shop writer. I loved a change of pace. All of that was taken away, of course, as it has for, I think, many all writers or anyone that likes to write in coffee shops. I used to be an early morning writer where I would wake up, just like walk my dogs, come back, sit at my desk, and then work for a few hours straight. After the pandemic, that kind of went through the window. I couldn't, like, my motivation felt kind of on the lower side of the spectrum. So I was writing more in the afternoons, taking the mornings to kind of like center myself a little bit, exercise and do meditation and do the things that kind of got me into the right headspace to write. With me, I'm very much a mood-based writer. So it's like when I feel it, I have to stop everything I'm doing and sit down and write. Every day can be different based on my mood and how things are looking on that day.
What about when you're in a bad mood? I'm asking for a friend, and the friend is me. On days when the words aren't flowing, I tell myself, "Oh, the words aren't flowing. I must step away from the manuscript." But then I think about these people who just are like, "No, keep your butt in the seat. You don't get up until the words are done." And then I think, like, Dean Koontz is one of those people. I hosted him. He's incredible, the man, the legend. Like, I genuflect to this incredibly successful mystery writer legend, but he says his butt is in the seat at 7 a.m. and he does not get up until 5 p.m. except for lunch, when he doesn't eat any carbs because carbs slow him down. I learned a lot about Dean Koontz. But he says if the words aren't coming, he doesn't care. He sits there until they come. That feels punitive and punishing and painful to me. And you're sharing that you only write, that you're a mood-based writer, but what about if you're just not in the mood? What do you do then? Do you keep forcing it or what?
There are a few things that get me in the mood. They're not that.
How do you get in the mood?
No, it's a struggle, and it took a lot of self-searching and really trying to understand myself to figure out when I should force it or when I should stick with it, not force it, or when I should let it go. Because sometimes if I'm really trying to push myself and force it, the next day I read over what I wrote and like it's flat and it's just not working and it sounds so contrived. So I try not to push myself too hard because I know that once I tap in and I really hit my stride, like I could write very quickly and get it all out there.
Yes.
But sometimes to get to that place where I know that what I'm producing is going to be of decent value, at least for someone to read, at least to make it to a first draft. Sometimes it can even take days. And I have this couch over there that I call it my thinking couch, but my husband makes fun of me because he's like, oh, that's not your thinking couch, that's your napping couch. And sometimes like he'd come in and like I'll be like laying down and he's just like, oh, you're thinking, huh? I'm like, yeah, I am. I'm thinking. He's like, it looks kind of like napping to me. But I just like to, when something's not working, I like to lay down and just like sit with the story in my mind. And hey, sometimes I do fall asleep, but whatever, right?
Does the thing take place sitting up or laying down?
For me, if that were the case, all my characters would just be like lying down in bed half the time.
Everyone's resting.
And then if I sit with something and I'm invested in it long enough, it comes. I just have to. I've started to become a little bit more confident in myself now to know that the ideas will come. I just have to let them.
I love that. The ideas will come. I just have to let them. And The process of letting them, you mentioned meditating. Is that
Mhm.
how you let them?
Um, I'm not like a pro meditator. I just like to take some time. There are a few practices that I try to follow that definitely do help, that definitely help get me into sort of the headspace that I need. Because when I write, and I like to write in first person, I tend to get very, very deep into sort of the point of view of the characters, so much so that, I wasn't very nice to live with when I was writing Paloma, just because I felt like it was very like mean in my mind, and some of that translated out to being mean in real life. So when you're doing that, it is something that it can take a little bit of a toll. So just to make sure that I'm taking care of my mental health, and for sure the mental health of people around me, like my poor husband, I try to get into a headspace that's healthy.
Exactly. I love that. Margaret is saying thinking couch on the list now. Margaret, you and me
Invaluable.
both. I am going to put that on my Amazon wish list. I need a thinking couch. Melissa is saying, I guess you have to write true to the authentic person you are. Yes, exactly. So Melissa's a mood writer, a self-described mood writer. She's going to let that come. She's going to be on her thinking couch. Dean Koontz is going to be over there depriving himself of carbs and getting and sitting in that desk for 14 hours a day and not moving until it comes, or did I do the math right? 10 hours a day, not moving until those words come. Margaret is saying hashtag get Amanda in the mood, LOL. I would like to sign up to get in the mood. Margaret's also saying no bathroom breaks and no carbs. Right, Margaret. I said that to Dean Koontz. I was like, in the space that you have had no meals, I've missed like 5 meals. Like I'm hungry even thinking about it. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love this question. Susan, what one book would Amanda have on a desert island and why? Ooh, Amanda, give us the skinny.
Oh, all
Yeah.
right. That is so difficult to ask a writer to pick one book. I had to say. So my favorite, absolute favorite comfort read is "We've Always Lived in the Castle" by Shirley Jackson. It's just one that
Ooh.
I can read over and over again. The only thing is, right now, I mean, it's definitely got creepy vibes, and I don't know how much I want to creep myself out if I were by myself on a desert island, but we'll go with that because I always love a good creepy book.
So your one book is "We Have Always Lived in a Castle" by Shirley Jackson. What do you love about it,
Shirley
Amanda?
Jackson. Um,
Besides it
just
is
so
creepy.
the creep factor is definitely up there, but just um, I don't know. It's creepy, but it's so beautiful, and for me, it's so comforting, and it almost has this like this dreamlike poetic quality to it that I find it's just very transporting. I've always loved it. I mean, always been a fan of Shirley Jackson, but like that one, I think specifically just really it hooked me. It's what made me a
Mm.
fan. So I love it.
I love that. I love that. Okay, thank you for that skinny. Now, Amanda, your book has earned absolutely incredible praise. Again, a most anticipated book by all of those incredible places, magazines, newspapers, websites, huge websites. Samantha Downing, who was just on the show a few weeks ago, said this is like nothing else I have ever read. Set in San Francisco and Sri Lanka, this is a story about friendship, lies, and guilt. A stunning and original must read. Absolutely incredible praise that you, ma'am, have earned from this legendary cult favorite writer, Samantha Downing. Tell us about let's get into the craft of writing. How do you think, what is the secret, do you think, or how did you do it? Or give us three keys or one key to writing the kind of book that earns that outstanding press, a stunning and original read like nothing else I've ever read. I mean, wow.
Oh, Sarah, you are too kind. I can barely wrap my head around this sort of reception. So I don't know
Mm.
that I have some sort of secret, or if I did, I wish I knew it so I could kind of try and replicate it. But definitely for me, it was, I think if there were three things. Like, one is absolutely loving the genre and reading as much as you can in it, right? Like, I mean, I got that quote from Samantha Downing, and I absolutely lost it because I'm such a huge fan, right? My Lovely Wife was just, it was such an amazing book. And as her books after that have been as well. But that was the one, again, that really gripped me. And so I think I cried a little. There have been a lot of tears through this process just because I can't believe it. So one is absolutely loving the genre and reading as much as you can within it. The second is, I think we already spoke about this, is writing what feels natural to you. So I think when you're, especially for me, being a woman of color, being Sri Lankan, there was a certain type of story that initially I felt like I was supposed to tell, and then I kind of chucked that out the window and thought, you know what, I'm going to write something that relates to me and my experiences. And at the time, I hadn't seen many books like that, in the sense, I mean, there were a few out there, but not very many that dealt with that were thrillers or suspense novels that had women of color as the main characters. So that was really important, that I wrote something that made sense to me. And the third one is, I mean, look, when you're a writer, there are good days and there are bad days. But I think the important thing is just to have as much fun as you possibly can, because, I mean, we do as adults a whole lot of things that are not fun. And writing shouldn't be one of those things. So I write as much as I have a good time doing it. And I really do. I really have a blast. Like, I've had a blast writing My Sweet Girl. I've had a blast writing what I've worked on after that. And it's really, really important to me that I truly enjoy what I'm doing. And I think if you do that, and if you write that book that you love and that works for you, then hopefully other people will see that too, and it'll make sense.
I love that. Amanda, what book do you think was expected of you as a woman of
Um,
color?
Not as a woman of color, but I think the first sort of book was, you see a lot of books that are in this genre.
Mm.
And you do sort of think, okay, there's a certain formula, there's a certain process, a certain path that you're supposed to follow. And I was trying to follow that path. It didn't go well. And then I thought, hey, let me, try and bring in a little bit of my own experiences as a woman of color, and kind of include that into the story. And it even became some of the plot elements at the end of the day. So it is, the initial book was sort of almost this like a whitewashed version of that didn't really have any of my own experiences. So it's only after I became kind of
Mm.
authentic to that it started to really work and gel together.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And I know I am really excited to see your book with a woman of color centered leading it, and seeing some other books starting to come out, because the one thing I have noticed as I've segued over to the genre is that it is very, very white. It is, in fact, mind-bendingly white, and it doesn't look anything that, if you look at the shelves in a mystery and thriller section, it does not look like what I see when I look out my window, living in a major metropolitan area, living in a big city.
Mm-hmm.
The shelf doesn't look like the world, which is weird. And so I'm really excited to start to see more of that happening. And I hope we keep seeing it. And the way that we see that, dear readers, is to buy those books. Because guess what? Publishers publish what's selling. So I think so much of us, so many times we feel like, oh, well, I wish it was different, but what can I do? I'm just one little person. I'll tell you what you can do. You can buy this book. You can buy this book. Every time you buy a book, you vote for the world that you want to see, the authors that you want to see succeed, the kinds of books that you want to see on the shelf, the kind of books you want to see published. So you do have a super amount of power, dear readers, because you can buy this book. And I'm going to pop I'm going to pop the link in the comments for where you can buy this book, which is, by the way, a woman-owned bookstore. So supporting women that way as well. So it's really cool. Amanda, you have gotten many, many, many wonderful words of praise, including this little fabulous one that I love, saying that, oops, I just went to click it and I accidentally clicked away. BuzzFeed says this is a pulse pounding debut, a fast paced thriller that will keep you on your toes. What do you think the secret is to keeping it fast? Because I think as readers, we want to be entertained. You want to keep it going. How do you keep it going? How do you keep it from dragging?
Um, Editing. Good,
Editing.
solid editing with an editor that you trust. I'm very lucky. My agent gave me a lot of really good feedback before we even went on sub. And then my editor at Berkeley, who is absolutely fantastic as well. I think that's where it really gets, because I tend to write fast, like I said, so that might help the pacing a little bit. But I know that sometimes, you get that middle that always gets a little draggy, and it
Yeah.
really helps to have good eyes, and really good quality feedback. Someone who's not afraid to tell you, hey, I think this is not working. I think we need to cut this. I think we need to make this tighter. And I absolutely love the collaborative process of publishing, and it really, really works for me. So definitely, like, good, strong editing is what makes it snappy.
I love that. So you're crediting your editor for a quote snappy for the snappy factor. I love that. Melissa would like to know what inspired you to want to write in the beginning. Were you born a writer? Did it come as you went? Give us the story on that.
It was never a conscious decision.
Mm.
I was always just a big reader, one of those kids that, would like lock myself up and be like, nobody disturb me. I'd have friends over and just ignore them. I'd be in a corner reading. Um, and, uh, and so it was very, very natural for me to, I think, just take the next step and want to create something of my own. I think my first novel that I attempted to write was when I was 9 or 10. It was written in like pink ink. It was just this terrible ripoff of a like Enid Blyton mystery story, like a famous fave story that where like me, myself, and my cousins were the characters, and it was ridiculous. But I've always written in some capacity, whether it was journals or those rite of passage, angsty teenage poems. Those things that I think everyone, most writers, experiment with when they're growing up. And then, yeah, I just have a lot of stories to tell, and it's natural for me to want to write them. I never made a conscious decision thinking, hey, I want to be a writer. I still find it funny when I'm referred to as a writer, because I'm like, oh, okay, I guess that's what I am, because I love to write. That's what I do. That's what I've always done. I just never consciously made that transition from I love writing to being a writer.
It feels weird and brave and bold and vulnerable to say I'm a writer, right? It feels
Yeah.
daring and sometimes unworthy, and there's a lot of feelings and a lot that goes around into to say this is me, and to reveal yourself that you're something you've wanted for so long. I know that's how it felt for me, to step out and be like, this is me. It's very it's really it's weird and wonderful. Welcome, David. Welcome, Karen. Great to have you here. Amanda, you also got an incredible review from Entertainment Weekly, which called it provocative. Do you think the book feels provocative?
Not to me, but I could see why, because like I said, I was writing a lot of my own experiences. So
Yeah.
perhaps it is because not many people probably saw these experiences through this type of lens before. So I could see why it would be considered provocative. I wasn't writing, in my mind, things that are that provocative in terms of experiences. I mean, Paloma herself does think some thoughts. She's got a lot of feelings.
She has a lot of
She does.
feelings. Oh, go ahead.
Go on, sir.
No.
I
I
know.
love that. Do
Yeah,
you
no.
have
So I was
a?
going to say,
Yeah, tell me.
here we go again. No, I was just going to say with Paloma, it was really interesting because I knew she would be a character who was somewhat divisive in a way that she would divide the audience. I knew she would be a love it or hate it, love
Mm.
her or hate her sort of character. And And I went into this knowing that that would be the case and being totally okay with it. I get feedback that says, what, I love Paloma. I thought she was great. She was so sarcastic. It was so dark. And I also get comments like she was absolutely horrible. And I'm like, you know what? Thank you. That's kind of the point. Like you're not supposed to like her, but if you can see or try to understand a little bit of where she's coming from, that would be great.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. Do you have of all these incredible reviews that your work has so richly earned and you so richly deserve? Is there a favorite one you had, either at the moment of receiving or the way that it really captured your work, where you thought I feel like I won the Oscar, the Emmy, the Tony. I'd like to thank the Academy, the Queen. What's your favorite pin?
I don't know if I can really pick one. It was every time I'm just so I'm in that period still where I honestly just can't believe it. I can't believe that I've gotten here. I can't believe that other people are like holding my book in their hands. I can't believe that people are liking it, enough to say nice things about it. Like for me, this whole thing is just it's absolutely mind-blowing. I don't know, every time like a little snippet of something comes in and I get an email, I sit there in like utter disbelief, and most of the time I'm out of words. I can't believe it. I got a really awesome, very, very sweet message yesterday from my agent's mom, who said that she really loved it. And for me, I was like, oh my goodness, it was so sweet. It was so kind. I was like, wow, this is amazing praise. So I think that really touched me when I got that. But all the praise has just been amazing.
I love that. Well, Abby Endler from Crime by the Book, who had you on last night, said this is her favorite debut of the year, and that girl reads a lot. So that's incredible praise. Amanda, what are you working on now? What words are coming now?
We're just wrapping up my second book with Berkeley. I'm so excited for it. Yay. I don't know how much I can say about it, but I can say that it takes place in Sri Lanka, but a completely different side of Sri Lanka than what we see in My Sweet Girl, because that was it. My Sweet Girl takes place sort of in an orphanage. The second book takes place in Colombo high society, and it centers around a big Sri Lankan wedding. It is suspense thriller, so there are definite dark elements there, but that's the basic gist of it.
I love that, Amanda. And what's been the process of writing that sophomore book? Are you feeling the pressure, or is it feeling motivating, or what's that like?
It's really funny. I have a group of writer friends, and we all complain about book 2 anxiety because it is so real. And also a lot of it was written, it was written, not a lot of it, all of it was written during the pandemic. So you're in a different headspace to the previous book. It took me a little while to get into it. So a lot of time was spent on my trusty thinking couch. A lot of time was spent trying to get into that headspace. Again, once it clicked and it flowed, which was great, but it did take me a lot longer than I would have liked to get into that headspace. There was definitely a lot of worrying and anxiety until I could get it, into the hands of finally my editor who was like, okay, I'm happy with this. And I was like, thank goodness, because I thought I was going to disintegrate.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, I love that. Well, just scrolling back here, make sure you didn't miss anything. Hank Philippi, Ryan calls it ridiculously good. Hank's coming on the show in 2 weeks. Amy.
Oh, I love her.
Isn't she wonderful? Amy Gentry raved, My Sweet Girl has it all. A paranoid bad girl protagonist, shocking twist, and gothic chills in a totally original setting. Amy was on the show a couple months ago.
I love her too. I love them all. This is amazing.
I love them all. Megan Collins raves, equal parts witty, chilling, and hypnotic, and it includes some of the creepiest lines and images I've ever read. Megan was on the show last year, coming back on again. She writes some creepy stuff. So incredibly high praise. Well, this has been so wonderful, Amanda, and it looks like, oh my goodness, we're over our time. So because I have so many questions, I have so much to chat about. Any parting words or things that you'd like to share or chat with, to tell us before we sign off?
Um, Nothing specific. I just want to say thank you so much, Sarah, for having me, for your support.
Oh my
I'd
gosh.
like to encourage everyone watching, just like Sarah said, to shop independent. It's been a rough year and a half now,
Yes.
for a lot of businesses. So that's really important. And I really hope you enjoyed the book. At the end of the day, all I really want, the only thing that really makes me happy through this is to hear that I've read a story that you read and enjoyed. And that's why I'm here. So thank you so much. And thank you for this opportunity, Sarah. I really appreciate it. This was so much fun.
Oh my gosh, Amanda, I have been so excited to host you. I have been looking forward to this for months. So I'm so excited that the book is coming out tomorrow, you guys. We're talking to the author before the book is even out. We are talking to the author before the book is even out. And again, you can pre-order it, which means they're going to ship it out to you tomorrow when the book is out. And I'm going to put the link in the comments one more time because it will get shipped out to you tomorrow from Murder by the Book. So I'm going to put it right here. You can click it, you can order it, you can shop a woman-owned book and buy this fabulous book. Again, most anticipated by everyone everywhere, which is absolutely incredible. And you can join my private Facebook group, free and open to all, to continue the conversation. The link is in the comments as well. So get the book, read it, and then we'll chat some more over there. Amanda, you are amazing. Congratulations on all of your incredible accomplishments. We cannot wait to see you soar, and we will be cheering for you every step of the way. When book number 2 is out, you have to come back and talk to us because this has been absolutely wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
Yay! All right, everybody, have a great night. I will see you next Monday for hashtag Mystery Monday because Mondays can be murder. Thank you, Amanda. Be well, and we'll see you when your next book is out. Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you. Bye.